Memorandum to the Department of Celestial Phenomena from Professor Piscean, Chair of Esoteric Dynamics. Date: the Sun in Gemini. Subject: low-hanging fruit. It has come to my attention that a growing number of astrological aspirants are frustrated by the perceived lack of tangible results from their natal chart. They seek immediate transformation without the requisite alchemical process. This memo addresses the phenomenon of low-hanging fruit. In any natal chart, the low-hanging fruit consists of planetary placements and aspects that are easily accessible, requiring minimal conscious effort to activate. These are not the profound life-altering transformations of a Pluto transit or the karmic reckoning of the South Node. They are the gentle, available energies that can provide quick wins and build confidence in one's astrological journey. Primary indicators of low-hanging fruit. Loose major aspects, trines and sextiles. A Jupiter trine to the Sun, for example, is a natural reservoir of confidence and optimism. Simply recognizing it can allow its flow to be consciously amplified. It is fruit waiting to be picked. The sign and house of the unaspected planet. A planet with no major aspects operates in a vacuum, its energy pure and undiluted. Its expression is often straightforward, if compulsive. An unaspected Mars in Aries is a raw engine of initiative. Directing it is as simple as pointing it at a target. The ruler of the ascendant in an angular house, 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th. This placement indicates a life force that is naturally projected into the world with little obstruction. Its expression is obvious to the native and those around them. A well-aspected Venus or Jupiter. These benefics, when harmoniously configured, are conduits of grace. Leveraging them is often a matter of simply saying yes to the opportunities they present. The danger of the low-hanging fruit is not in its consumption, but in the belief that it constitutes the entire harvest. The true work, the deep, soul-level grafting, lies in the squares, the oppositions, and the hidden cadent house placements. Advise students to snack on the low-hanging fruit, but to save their real strength for the harvest of the highest branches. Memorandum to the disciples of the Inner Sanctum from Professor Piscean, Keeper of the Abandoned Zodiac. Date: the waning moon in Capricorn. Subject: coins for deserted ideals. We are all in some part of our chart haunted. This memo concerns the psychic currency we leave at the altars of our abandoned selves, what I term coins for deserted ideals. Every individual incarnates with a blueprint of potential encoded in the midheaven, the north node, and the dispositors of their chart. However, the friction of life, the Saturnine restrictions, the chironic wounds often forces us to abandon certain paths, to lock away entire wings of our potential. These deserted ideals do not simply vanish, they become ghosts in the natal chart, and we pay them a toll to keep them quiet. Where to find the coins and the altars? The part of fortune. Its sign and house reveal where we leave coins of comfort and sensory gratification to placate the soul's deeper yearning for purpose. The 12th house, any planet here, represents an ideal, an energy that was deserted before this lifetime began. We pay it in the currency of solitude, escapism, or unconscious repetition. A severely afflicted Saturn. Saturn in hard aspect to a personal planet often marks the site of a great abandonment, a dream deemed too impractical, a talent too difficult to cultivate. The coin paid here is too often a life of discipline, resignation, a perpetual payment on a debt of fear. The Queen Cux in conjunct aspect. This 150-degree aspect is the master of deserted ideals. It represents two parts of the self that cannot see each other, that were forced to choose. The native will perpetually expend energy, the coin, trying to balance realms that were never meant to meet, forever mourning a synthesis that feels just out of reach. The alchemical work is not to cease payment, which is impossible, but to consciously change the currency. Instead of paying the 12th house Neptune with delusion, pay it with inspired art. Instead of paying a squared Saturn with rigid control, pay it with the mature, disciplined pursuit of the very ideal you once deserted. Reclaim your psychic currency. Memorandum to the Nocturnal Council from Professor Piscean, Dean of Oniomancy. Date: the moon south node in Scorpio. Subject: night warriors. Beneath the curated self of the sun sign identity lies a battalion of latent selves, forged in the crucible of the subconscious. These are the night warriors, and they are activated when the conscious mind sleeps. The night warriors are not the passive figures of dreams, they are active archetypal entities, constituted primarily by 3 chart placements. The planetary ruler of the 4th house, the root. This planet governs the ancestral foundational psyche. In its nocturnal activation, it becomes a warrior defending the core of the identity. The planetary ruler of the 8th house, the armory. This planet provides the warrior with its weapons, the transformative, psychic, and often ruthless energy needed for subconscious battle. The placement of Pluto, the general. Pluto dictates the theater of war, the house where these profound compulsive battles for soul power are fought nightly. For example, an individual with Mars, Aries ruling the 4th house and Pluto in the 7th will have a night warrior that fights Mars for its core security 4th in the realm of relationships 7th, using the weapons of the 8th house ruler. If the 8th is ruled by Mercury and Gemini, the weapons are wit, information, and piercing communication. This native may wake exhausted after a night of subconscious arguments or psychic negotiations, having been their own Mars-Pluto negotiator. The goal is not to disarm the night warriors, but to integrate them by consciously engaging with the planets and houses that constitute them. Through therapy, active imagination, or shadow work, we can bring these powerful forces into the light of day, making their battles conscious and their strength our own. Memorandum to the Mundane Astrology Task Force from Professor Piscean. Date: the Sun in Virgo. Subject: foot soldiers and ethereal emo bodies. For every grand shine and stunning stellium, there exists the supporting cast, the indispensable, unglamorous energies that perform the daily work of being. We must understand the distinction between the foot soldiers and the ethereal emo bodies. The foot soldiers are the planetary and house placements responsible for maintenance, routine, and practical survival. They are the backbone of the chart, and without them, the more refined energies would starve. Primary indicators: the 6th house, its ruler, and any planets residing there. Virgo placements: a well-aspected Saturn, the moon in an earth sign. These are the energies that ensure you eat, pay bills, and complete your daily tasks. They are the infantry of consciousness. The ethereal emo bodies are the highly sensitive, often dysfunctional receptor sites in the chart that process intangible, atmospheric, and collective emotional data. They have no practical function and exist only to feel and transmit. Primary indicators: Pisces placements, particularly Pisces moons or stelliums, the 12th house and its tenants, a prominently placed Neptune, like conjunct ascendant or midheaven, water sign emphasis with weak Saturnian aspects. These are not soldiers, they are psychic sponges, artists, and empaths. They are overwhelmed by the duties of the foot soldiers. The modern spiritual crisis is largely a result of this internal civil war. The foot soldiers see the ethereal emo bodies as lazy, chaotic, and useless. The ethereal emo bodies see the foot soldiers as soulless, robotic, and oppressive. The key to integration is a negotiated peace. The foot soldiers must agree to build a protected structure schedule, a monastery for the ethereal emo body to safely experience its revelations, and in return the ethereal emo body must channel its insights into a tangible form, a painting, a poem, a healing session that the foot soldiers can respect as work. Memorandum to all astrological cartographers from Professor Piscean, Director of Inner Space Topography. Date: the new moon in Libra. Subject: create your own happy place. The injunction to create your own happy place is not a mere psychological platitude, it is a precise astrological mandate. The natal chart provides the exact coordinates and building materials. This is the art of conscious chart sculpting. The happy place is not a denial of the chart's challenges, but the deliberate construction of a psychic sanctuary from which to face them. Its architecture is drawn from 3 primary sources. The 5th house sanctuary: this is the house of joy, creativity, and spontaneous self-expression. Identity and identify its sign and ruler. If Leo rules the 5th, your happy place is built on stages. It's sunlight through drama and recognition. If its ruler is Venus in Taurus, it is a sensual garden of earthly delights. Consciously engage in these activities as a non-negotiable spiritual practice. The Jupiterian refuge: the sign and house placement of Jupiter is a natural zone of grace and expansion. A Sagittarius Jupiter in the 9th finds its happy place in a university library or a foreign airport. A Cancer Jupiter in the 4th finds it in a warm, nourishing home kitchen. Go to the place your Jupiter describes. The Venusian Grove: Venus by sign, house, and aspect shows what you love, what you value, what brings harmony. This is the aesthetic of your happy place. Venus in Scorpio in the 8th requires a space of deep transformative intimacy and psychological intensity. Venus in Aquarius in the 11th requires a community of eclectic, stimulating friends. By synthesizing these 3, engaging in 5th house play within your Jupiterian realm of expansion under the aesthetic rules of your Venus, you construct a potent, personalized talisman against the chaos of the world. It is a bubble of your own beneficence, a fortress built from your own grace. Memorandum to the Ariel Division of Spiritual Psychic Physics. From Professor Piscean, Chief Theorist. Date: the Uranus-Pluto square. Subject: lunging into the atmosphere. We now address the most dynamic and perilous of astrological maneuvers, lunging into the atmosphere. This is the moment a native attempts to break the gravitational pull of their own natal chart, to reach for a transit or progression that feels tantalizingly close, yet exists outside their typical energetic pattern. A lunge is characterized by a sudden, often reckless, expenditure of energy in an attempt to embody an archetype that is not yet fully integrated. It is Icarus flying towards the sun, their Leo mid-heaven before his wax wings have set. Common lunges and their consequences. The Saturn lunge. A 25-year-old with a late 28th degree Saturn, feeling the approach of their Saturn return, may suddenly leave a relationship or job in a dramatic premature imitation of Saturnine maturity. This is not the true return, it is a panic lunge at it, and often results in a messier, less structured outcome. The Uranus lunge. Sensing a forthcoming Uranus transit, a native may violently rebel against their life circumstances in a way that is destructive rather than liberating. True Uranian awakening is an electrifying download. The lunge is a self-administered shock from a faulty outlet. The relationship lunge. Synastry. This occurs when one person projects an entire archetypal complex onto a partner, seeing their own 7th house Pluto savior in a new acquaintance, and lunging into an intensity that the other person has not consented to hold. The lunge is always born of impatience with the natural organic timing of the chart. It is the ego's attempt to hijack the soul's schedule. The antidote is not inaction, but rooted reach. One must strengthen the foundational energies, the 4th house, the moon, the Saturn structures, to build a Taylor launch pad. Do not lunge into the atmosphere. Build a tower from which you can step onto it. The view is the same, but the return journey is assured.